see each other's comments. So I was looking at my bank statements. I know that's a weird way to start any conversation. I was looking at my bank statements. I was looking at, actually, I take it back. I was looking at my invoices. That's going to give you a cue right now. I was looking at my invoices and I was looking at how much I was owed for this month. I have a set of invoices that are due, some are past due, some are due in 30 days, some are due in 2 days or whatever. And I was looking at that and I said to myself, now tell me if you've ever felt this way. If you've ever heard this, I want you to put a yes in the comments. If you've ever said this to yourself, give me a me, give me a hand like, yep, that's me. If this has ever been you, you looked at something like this and you said, why did it take me so long to figure this out? If that's ever been you, if you've ever been, and this, even if you're watching a replay, let me know. Have you ever been looking at something that you're doing now as a creative, you're a professional, you're a hobbyist, you've kind of done this for a while, and you look at something and you're like, gee, like it is an instant of not regret, but perspective. Okay, so give me a comment, give me a wave if that's you. We got some live viewers right here on Instagram. So if you guys know what I'm talking about, let me see a hand. Yep, that's me. I have been that person that has looked at my own work, looked at something I'm doing now, and said, man, why did it take me so long to figure this out? Well, that was the experience I had. The experience I had is realizing that I should have been doing some money things with my creative career, some things that would have been so much more beneficial for my creative career if I had started earlier, if I had if I had known, and then actually taken some advice that I've been given. If I had done that earlier, it would have been so much better for my creative career. Let me do something real quick. I feel like I'm looking down on my Instagram, folks. I'm going to see if I can lift my camera. See if I don't drop you guys. Make sure I don't drop you, make you a little bit higher. Hopefully I I might have just thrown it off. Wait. There we go. Okay, so now it's not as like I'm looking so far away from you. All right. So as I was saying, I was looking at these invoices, and what I realized was this is some processes that I've developed that, again, some of this only in the last few days or weeks or months. So I'm not going to act like I've been doing this for a while. But what I realized is if I struggled with something that I wish I had known back when I started creating, and again, we're talking from the context of a creative who loves God. This is not about making $1 million. This is not about trying to get rich quick. Immediately, a lot of people, as soon as you saw money, I saw some people even unsubscribed when I sent this message about making money as a creative. And I think I can guess what they were thinking. They were like, oh my gosh, this guy's only about money. This is supposed to be a Christian-oriented theme in terms of this God and gigs thing. I don't want to be in anything that's like, oh, it's all about money and money is the root of all evil and all these things that people come up with. Okay, so I knew as soon as I put this topic that some people were going to either unsubscribe or think that this is all worldly. It's not for musicians or creators that love God. This is just, a bunch of scam stuff that he's starting to talk about. This is not for you. You can go ahead and scroll past. This is not for you. God bless you. Pray for you. This is for the people that understand. Also, there's a verse where the Bible says that he gives us power to gain wealth and that the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous. So if you want to go Bible, I'll go Bible on you in terms of what money means, okay? And money is just a means to an end to promoting the kingdom. So if we are kingdom creators, if you love God, if you're in this God and gig community and you want to help people, James says it like this. What good is it is if you pray for a certain person and you don't actually help them, if you don't actually put clothes on their back, don't actually help them. Well, guess what? You know how you put clothes on people's back? You have money to pay for it. You know how you feed your family? You have money to pay for it. You know how you keep your kingdom creative career advancing? You bring in income, invest in yourself, build a business that creates a legacy for you. So that's for all of those people. Send this to them if they are the people who keep saying that it's not about money. No, it's not about money, which is why I need to make money. Did you follow me? It's not about money, which is why I need to make money, because it's not about money. This is about impact and things I should have done with my creative career. What's up, Paula? I see you over there on Instagram. My friend Paula over there. She is amazing. Hey, you chime in as well if you feel what I'm if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Okay. So, and again, share this, send this to somebody who's either struggled with money as a creative, has felt like they don't know how to make an income, who has felt like God is like kind of cursed them, or that their enemy has cursed them. They don't know how to like make this work. And I'm going to tell you the things I wish I had done 20 years ago, the things I wish I had paid attention to 20 years ago when I first started performing, creating, making this a full-time income, whether it was in ministry or outside of ministry. It was all still the building blocks of a career in creative life. So send this to them. If they've struggled with this, if you're watching a replay, send this to them. Okay, so I'm going to jump in quickly. Those of you who are on YouTube, you'll get the slides. Those of you on Instagram, I'll try to give you guys as much context as possible. But I want to make sure to get into this, because like I told you guys, I'm going to have to head out in about 30 minutes to head out to a cool, nice little wedding. And I want to make sure I practice these songs and I get there on time. And yes, I am performing. Wendell, good to see you over there. Okay. All right. Let's jump in. So I want to start with what seems like the basics, but the basics are not the basics. Oftentimes the basics, we skip the basics. So the first thing I wish I had done back in the old, and when I first started, and yes, I consider myself old. First thing I wish I had done, I wish I had kept my business and my personal finances separate. I wish I had kept my business and my personal finances separate. My creative business, music gigs, my income from everything, all my side hustles, I wish I had not mixed it in with my personal accounts, because that's what I did. Back when I first started creating, when I was first doing gigs, even when I was first, I'll be careful about the church. I'll never refer to the church as a gig, but it was an income. It was a side income. So even that, I wish I had made very clear that this was a separate business entity, and that it has its own accounts, and that it has its own place, and that it has its own way of running. And then I pay myself as a company into my personal accounts. Now that's what I do now. I wish I had done that back then. If this is you, if you've ever felt like that, and you've ever said, man, I wish I had done something like that, then put a yes in the comments, okay? Simony is joining us on YouTube. Good to see you, my dear sister. I need you to chime in on some of this stuff, okay? So if this has ever been you, because we're going to help some people today, and I know they're either watching a replay or they're watching live, and they need to know that you and I are together on trying to get this money thing down, because as we've heard in our church, Simony and I go to the same church. As we've heard, if you get this right, if you get this money thing right, everything else is taken care of. A lot of the things that we get strung up on as creatives and as Christians can be fixed if we just got the money thing right. So that's the first thing I wish I had done. I wish I had not mixed it up. And what I mean by that is that when I first started, as soon as I got a check from any gig, I threw it right into my personal account. It was, oh my gosh, I can pay this bill. Oh yes, thank goodness I got this $200. And it was like immediately gone. Like no tax, no paying attention to paying the taxes, no attention to how much am I really making, no record keeping, none of that. And so two things happened, of course. One is I had no idea how much I was actually making from my gigs and my creative life and my creative income. So I really had no clue. I wasn't treating it like a business. And the second thing that might have been even more devastating was that I didn't see the value of this as a business in terms of my own mentality. I was saying things like this. Tell me if you've ever said this. If you've ever said something like this: I'm not good with business. I'm a creative, so I can't handle contracts and finances and things like that. If you've ever said that, put a yes in the comments. If you've ever said, yeah, that's me, then put that as well over here on Instagram, or give me some emojis over there. Give me some fire emojis if that's you, because that was me. And I absolutely struggled with that. I struggled with this idea that I'm not supposed to be good with money. So my only goal is to try to grab as many checks as I can, throw them into the personal account, and hope for the best. That was my mentality. What I wish I had done. All right, some of these with me, right? What I wish I had done is I wish I had kept them separate. I wish even if the business was not making a lot of money, and here's one of the things I think we all struggle with. We think that you can't really make a separate account for the business or it's not worth it until you're making like some kind of big income. No, if it's just $50 and that $50 sits in a separate account outside of your business, outside of your personal account, it's still worth it. There are plenty of free accounts. I'm going to talk about some things that I've used that are, again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a tax professional, none of these things. I'm somebody who's used these things. And so I'm going to invite you to check out some of these people that are in our established creative experts, universe and God Gate universe. Check with them. I'm going to allude to them as financial experts because they do have credentials. But that's the one thing. Good to see you, Emmanuel, over here on Instagram. Great to see you, brother. A worshiping musician, brother. Check out his book, The Worshiping Musician, and his podcast as well. Emmanuel is a great friend of God and Gigs. So first thing I wish I'd done, kept business and personal separate. Okay, you guys got that on Instagram? The second thing I wish I had done different. I'm going to go right through these as fast as I can. It kind of goes along with what I just said. I wish I had taken record keeping and taxes seriously. I wish I had taken record keeping and taxes seriously. Y'all, I'm going to be honest. I am still living down the mistakes I made in my record keeping and taxes when it comes to the business. The reason why I followed that up with keep your business and your personal separate in terms of being a creative and not just grabbing checks and throwing them into your personal account is because of all the benefits you lose and all the the possible penalties you will face if you don't take your record keeping of your business seriously. Here's the scary part. The IRS is real, y'all. It's around, we got about less than 45, like 25 days, 30 days or so, or 25 days until tax day. Creatives, how many horror stories have you heard? I want you to go, actually, I can't do it on my phone. I want to see if I can do it on my computer. Go look up our interview. God and Gigs 360 members, you have access to this already, but we have a webinar and an interview with Samantha Mabry, who's a tax strategist, and our podcast with her. I wish I had all the numbers of the podcast. Actually, oh, look, I got a whole nother laptop. Come on. Thank you, Jesus. I'm going to open up 3 laptops at the same time, y'all, because I'm going to do all this at once. I want you to know which number to go to. So let's see. Where is Sam's? I'm going to go godandgigs.com/podcast. You guys, you want to go to godandgigs.com/podcast if you ever want to find an episode. And I'm going to go to search and I'm going to type in tax. And I'll tell you what number it is. Number, I can't see it. It's so small. Ah, man, I thought I could see the number and I can't even see the number. That's messed up. I hid the number from myself. All right, I'll find it later. Anyway, go look up Sam Mabry. She did a great interview with us on taxes and why creatives, we struggle with this. And then number 2, the problem is, as I just mentioned, is that what happens is you miss out on all the benefits, on all the tax deductions. How much money would I have saved on taxes, on my personal taxes, if I had done deductions back then on everything I buy, on the lights I'm using right now, on the mic, on the keyboards? If I had saved that money by putting the deductions and not doing the taxes myself, creatives, TurboTax is not our friend. I'm just going to say it out loud. I'm not a tax professional, but I'll say it like this. TurboTax was not my friend. How's that? Okay. If anybody is struggling with taxes right now, I highly recommend you grab a professional. If Sam Mabry is taking clients, there's other people that we'd recommend inside our God and Gigs community. But please do not try to do your own taxes when it comes to your creative career. Let somebody and take records of everything. I use a program called Hurdle that keeps up with all of my drives. And then now, as I mentioned, my tax, I guess my software is, Hurdle pretty much does everything. It keeps everything together. So I don't have to do like separate things for like QuickBooks and stuff like that. So You have to keep track of that, and keeping track of that will have huge benefits. And again, I'm raising my hand. If this is you, if you've been lax on the tax thing, if you've been lax on keeping track of what you spend for your trumpet, Manuel, for your pieces, Brent, good to see you, brother. You know this. Chime in if you agree with me, okay? Your things that you buy for just your gas, for just the travel, the gigs that you travel to, the clothes you wear, all of that is deductible. And I'm not a tax professional. I'm just telling you what happened to me is I missed out on a lot of deductions because I never took the time to make sure that that was taken care of. If that's you, if you agree, put a heads up. Okay, I think somebody you put this up from earlier, but somebody's agreeing with me over here on YouTube. Okay, Brent. Okay, I'm going to read this for you guys on YouTube. Someone that knows all of the available tax codes to save us money. There are a few apps that actually help with tracking every expense, including itemization. 100%. Brent, that's it. I wish I could tag that over here. I'm not sharing. Like I said, this has just turned out to be easier when I do two different screens. But 100%. You got to make sure you itemize and pay attention to. And this, again, we're creators. We get stuck like, oh my God, I don't want to do all this stuff. I don't want to do all this stuff. It's true. But I wish I had done more of it sooner. I would save myself a ton of money on taxes. I would be in a better financial position. And God calls us, look, even Jesus paid taxes, y'all. Jesus paid taxes. He made sure that he was covered. He was able to do a miracle, get a fish and get something else. Manuel says he just got a new mouthpiece, tax deductible. I am not a tax professional, but if it's for business and you can show it's for business, then by all means. So this is something I'm taking my own advice with, guys. I got to go get my we are behind. I should have done this a long time ago. I'll probably do it tonight or tomorrow. I'll probably get my Hurdle app. I'm not a I'm not an affiliate of Hurdle, but Hurdle is spelled HURDLR. Okay, no E in there. So if you want to check out Hurdle, I use Hurdle. I used to use a couple of other ones, but those are defunct now. So now Hurdle is the one that I use, and it's been tracking me for tracking me. It has been tracking all of my drives, and I just hit a button, and it collects all of my information, and I just send that to my tax professional, and done. So that's what LaShonda Brown is in the house, Miss Signature CEO Speaker of the Year. Hello, my sister. Y'all got to check out LaShonda at Bootstrap Business Advice. She's got some amazing stuff going on. I'll keep talking because I'll get excited and I'll talk about her this entire time. But we're talking about money and why we need to make less mistakes like the ones I made. So if you're with me on that, give me a hands up. I'm tracking. I'm with you. Let me know with a yes in the comments so we can kind of keep each other going. Because like I said, I got 20 more minutes and then I got to get to this wedding. Okay. Where were we? We were at, taking record keeping seriously, which we just talked about. Like use Brent's example, use apps, use things that give you the possibility of being able to track it automatically. You can attach your business account to these things. A lot of these banks now actually have software kind of built in where they also track your stuff for you in terms of, hey, this is all from restaurants. This was all from gas. This was all from this particular store. And you can track all that and then just send that amount and you can do your tracking again. Hire a tax professional. It's my highest recommendation. We saved a ton of money and we were in a boatload of tax problems before we took care of that. All right. This is a really, I got this next point. There's those Instagram who are not watching from a book called Real Artists Don't Starve by Jeff Goins. I still recommend Real Artists Don't Starve, which is an amazing book. And what Jeff Goins talked about was something that I really realized I should have leaned into more when I was working full-time in ministry. And that is your job is your creative patron. Back in the day when there was Bach and all the classical and even, artists, it still happens now. People had patrons. That's why that patron is now like an app, right? So patrons are the people who paid for and self-support the artist. But some of you are working part-time or working full-time, and then your part-time is your creative career. And you might think, well, my job is my job and I just need to focus on that and the money goes there and I don't really pay attention to, like, they don't really mix. Like we said, don't mix them. But what you can do is you can see your job as your creative patron. So in other words, you start investing into your business slowly, piece by piece, small parts by small part from your full-time job. And your job is actually making it possible one day for you to switch and eventually become a full-time creative. Let me explain. I am not saying to just start funneling all your money from your bills that you need to pay your bills and then funnel it into the business. What I am saying is that if you are working a full-time position, and you can start making some of your targeted investment things back into your business, those funds, as we just mentioned, now become business funds. You loan it basically to yourself. So you can talk to an accountant, make sure this is above board so that you're not mixing personal, but you're also looking at how can you start investing your own proceeds from your personal and actually use your job as a creative patron. So let's talk, LaShonda, you're the bootstrap queen. You know what we're talking about. We're talking about bootstrapping from the first couple of purchases you make. And usually you haven't made a lot of money. So you're not trying to like go into debt to start your creative business. You're starting from, hey, I made a bonus here. I'm setting this bonus aside. This bonus will go toward this particular thing I need for my creative business. That will become my first asset in the creative business. Then that asset starts to pay for itself through the next job I do, the next creative thing I do, the next gig I do. And now that becomes a income producing asset in my business, which my job paid for. Is this making sense? I wish I had done this more. Why do I wish I had done this more? Good to see you, Shauna Lee. Awesome to see you. Sticks Jerry as well over here on Instagram. Great to see our friends coming in on Instagram. Love you guys. Here's what I want to make sure you understand. And this is you, raise your hand. And if somebody's struggling with this, share this with them, please. Okay? If you are starting out and you are trying to get your business, creative business off the ground, and you see your full-time job as a detriment, I wish I had more time, but I've got this full-time job. I wish I could sing more. I wish I could play more, but I got this, I got to pay bills. That mentality is what I wish I had erased from my mentality. I wish I had not thought that way. Why? Because I stopped seeing my job as being a benefit to my creative career, and I saw it as a detriment to my creative career, and it made me less ready to see the benefits of having both going on. Is this making sense? You need to keep both these things separate, but you also need to see how they can help each other. A very perfect example of this is the fact that the only reason I have a full-time job at my church as a podcast producer is because I started a podcast for God and Gigs. It is not a one-to-one thing where it's like, oh, well, if I'm making money off my business, then I need to, then it's just the business and the full-time job is just a full-time job and they're separate. No, my side hustle is what made my full-time job possible. So had I not invested into the side hustle, my full-time job never would have become a full-time job. So what I'm saying is change your mindset from I can't do one or the other. It's got to be either or, to my job makes my creative business possible, and my creative business could then benefit my job. And your job is actually going to benefit your overall side hustle, creative career. I wish I had changed that mentality back when I was working full-time in ministry. Thank you so much, LaShonda, saying over here on, wait a minute. Where's my mouse? My mouse disappeared. There we go. All right. Thank you so much, LaShonda. That's amazing. You're over here on Instagram as well, or sorry, YouTube as well. Simone is tracking. All right. Okay. Let's keep moving because, again, I got to remember, I got to get to this wedding. I got to get changed and my clothes waiting. This weather, hopefully this weather holds up. It's raining up here in South Florida. Here's okay, I'm going to hit this one. Because Brent just posted some things on Instagram, some tracks, some expense tracking apps. Oh, that's it's a long URL. Brent, I'm going to ask you I might put that on the email. I need to, can you text that to me? Brent's my friend here in South Florida, so he can text it. Can you text me that link? And then I can actually, because that's a little long link, I can't read the whole thing out and it's not clickable on Instagram. He just put a great link for some expense tracking apps for Forbes. If you text that to me, I can actually post it. And I'll send that to both our Guiding Gigs 360 community, and I'll send it also in the Facebook community. This is great. This is exactly why I did this talk right now, because if you're doing taxes, which you should be, and if you didn't do taxes and you didn't catch up with this, things I wish I should have done, now you can correct them. Okay. All right. Let me go. Oh, I went ahead a little bit. No, let me go to this one. I said I was going to this one. Okay. Score.org. Thank you for that. Also, yeah, that's right. Society for Retired Executives. I saw as I had experience with that too, man. Thank you for sharing. These are great links, guys. This is what's going to make your creative life better. Because when you're not thinking about these things, you're going to get more creative. When you're not stressing about bills, you're going to get more creative. When you're not like, oh God, who paid me when? Did they pay me? I don't remember they paid me. When do I get this check? Do I get this check? Do I have any money? Is anybody giving me any money? I can't do this. When your mind is stressed about money, your creative abilities are crushed. Okay, you're too stressed. You can't think clearly to create like that when you're so stressed about bills. So let's get the money thing figured out. Okay. All right. PTOO. I made this up, but this is something I wish I had known back when I started. I wish I had known the profit first model. If you have heard of a profit first, please raise your hand. If you have not heard about profit first, then just say never heard of it. Okay. So just give me a comment. Yes or no. Have you heard of profit first? Okay. I'll talk while you guys are going, because I know I'm about to rush everything. I apologize for rushing. So Profit First is a book and a process and a method about how to manage your business finances. The reason I wish I had done this way back when, I wish I'd read this book earlier, is because this PTOO, which is basically profit, taxes, owners pay, operating expenses. That's not in the book. I made that up. It helps me remember. PTOO. Okay, so think PTO, but double O. So PTOO is really just my way of reminding myself that I need to give myself first, pay myself profit. It's called the profit first model for a reason. Profit first literally means where most companies say, oh, profit is what I have after my expenses and my income. Income minus expenses equals profit. The way that the profit first model takes it is profit minus expenses equals income. So in other words, they start with profit. I'm going to pay myself the profit off the top so that there's always a profitable company. And then I will organize everything underneath it to make sure there's always a 2%, 3% margin at the beginning of it. I wish I had known this. Y'all, if I had been thinking like this when I first started being a creative, if I had said the first thing I'm going to do is not just pay myself. Notice, this is not paying yourself first. This is profit first. I am going to make sure there is a nest egg of profit before I even start talking about the rest of it. If I had a mentality that I need to profit from my creative business that God gave me from the get-go, I would have been so much better off. If you currently right now have never thought of this, be honest, say, be honest. If you've never thought about, I should be profitable, then you're not alone, because I used to be that way too. Okay. Next is taxes. All right. Yes, LaShonda, I should have known you were a lover. You're a lover of profit first. My sister, we're on the same page. We're on the same page. Okay. Calm down. Get excited. Okay. Taxes is next. I love this stuff. And then I got to go in a second. I always get rolled and then I got to stop. Taxes is after that in the profit first model. So profit and taxes. And by the way, this is all percentages. This is something else that I wish I had done. Profit first breaks things down to percentage. Go get the book. You can go to guidedgigs.com/books. I think Profit First is on our recommended list. If not, I will add it. guidedgigs.com/books. Okay, you'll see all of the books we recommend. I also think I created a library on my Amazon storefront. LaShonda, I'm so proud. I got an Amazon storefront now. I don't even know where my link is, but actually I'll get it and I'll find it. But anyway, I want to make sure that everybody understands these percentages is what blew my mind. I was like, oh, I don't have to think about this anymore. This much goes to profit. This much goes to taxes. Every paycheck I get from my clients Automatically, boom, I know how much I'm sending. No more guessing. Oh, what bill do I have to pay? Oh, do I need this much? Oh, let's supply this way. Oh, shoot, I got this. I need to make more. It took all of the pressure off of my money management of my business. The first O is owner's pay. So then there's the part that actually pays me. And the last one is operating expenses. So here's the cool thing about the last one being operating expenses. It forces everything else to fit. Before I worry about how much my business is going to take from me, I make sure I get my profit, I make sure I get my taxes, and I make sure that I pay myself. I had none of this when I first started. When I first started, I had no clue about profit. I was not taking out taxes, and I was not taking out a dedicated percentage to pay myself as a salary. And my income and my life was drastically worse financially. I am not making any kind of big bucks here. I am not one of those people who are like, oh, follow me, you'll make 7 figures. That's not me. Go somewhere else. Go find Gary Vee. He'll tell you how to do that. Not going to find it here. What you will find is someone that has a strong foundation now of how to build a creative business and has done it while keeping my family intact and been able to build a business that I care about and that I love and that other people are blessed by. If that's what you want, and you want to follow these models, then this is what you want to do. Follow these types of models that give you a percentage and give you something that you can stick with. Joselle, so good to see you over here on Instagram. I miss you. Good to see you. All right. But I got to keep going again. I got 10 minutes to finish. All right. So profit first model. Oh, by the way, this replay is available, you guys. If you want to watch, if I go super fast, the replay is available. If you came in at the last minute and you're watching this now on replay or watching it now live, you can go watch the replay, okay? And I will look up for that storefront. Yeah. LaShonda says, love profit first. I know. I mean, it changed so much. It changed so much of my perspective. All right. Finally, let's get to the last of these things that I wish I had done back when I was first starting 20 years ago. Okay. By the way, thank you guys so much for joining in and being a part of this. If you did like this, please share it. If you're on Instagram or Facebook, any of these other things, please go ahead and like those posts, like this. Let me share this with other people. As you can see, I get animated. I did not realize how much I love teaching. I mean, I'm always going to be a teacher, but this format really like just leads to what I know I'm gifted and blessed to do. And so I can become the creator that I'm created to be, thanks to you. So please share this. We are a value for value program. I'll explain more about value for value. You can go back to our last our last live where I talk about value for value in depth. And value for value is a huge new thing that's happening, both technology, but then it's a timeless tradition of talent, talent, and treasure. Where if you give time, you're giving time right now, talent, you can send us stuff where you can have a jingle, or maybe you're a graphic designer and you can help us with logos or whatever. And then treasure, if you hit the super thanks on I think we do have super thanks. No, we don't have super thanks yet, not on this channel. But you can use PayPal, or on our podcast, we also have a thing where you can use a very cool form of Bitcoin to support us. Yes, we're going there, guys. We're going ahead. All right, let me finish this up. Using invoices for everything. Y'all, this is a recent development that I am finally, my wife is like, why did it take so long? I'm finally, as of like last month, invoicing everyone and everybody that I do business with. And I know musicians, especially those are musicians, you're going to be like, wait, you invoice like the people that are doing like the little $100 gigs on the side and you just, yes. I am learning to invoice every single bill that I'm due. I create an invoice, even if I don't send it to them. This is the key. This is what like blessed me. And I'll tell you right now what helped me. I'm now doing a business. I'm playing keys for a company that's hiring me to go to hotels and resorts. They send me a thing to fill out the invoices. And I saw this come out every time. And I was like, well, I'm sending them invoices through this software company. Why don't I just use that same software company and send my bills to everyone else? And y'all, when I started just seeing paid invoice, the change it does in my brain to just waiting to be paid to paid invoice, paid in full, part paid. When you start tracking that stuff, y'all, your brain will change. Your mindset about business will change. Your creative energy will change. It will be like, wait a minute. I worked and I deserve what I need and I deserve to get it at this time. And I'm going to put it in writing. Kind of goes along with contracts. We have a podcast on that. But I am now invoicing everyone. I wish I had done this back when I had started. I wish, and now the place I'm using is bill.com. Just like that, bill.com. Okay. I'm not an affiliate, not making any money off of that. Go to bill.com. That's where I'm starting to do my invoices. Some people do it through Google. They do Google spreadsheets. I used to do Google spreadsheets as well, or Google, then create an invoice. It didn't really track anything. PayPal does invoices. If you do get paid through PayPal, you can also do PayPal for PayPal invoices. I used to do that a lot, but bill.com is the one that's like really freed me up because it's like everything's in the same place and I can create them easily. Some people use QuickBooks. Again, the method is not important. What's important is that you actually follow through with these. So those are the 5 things that I wish I had done. I'm going to go through them quickly. Again, hopefully, if you're on Instagram, if you need these, please join us at godandgigs.com/info. I can send this to you through a newsletter. Okay. I can send these to you and you can join our newsletter and you'll get all 5 of these so that you'll be able to keep up. Keep biz and personal separate. I wish I had done that. I wish I had taken my record keeping and my taxes seriously when I first started. I wish I had known that my job is my creative patron. They're not battling each other. They're actually helping each other. I wish I had known the profit first model, the PTOO, profit taxes, owners pay, and operating expenses. I wish I had paid attention to that. Go check out Profit First. Again, you can go to Alan Paul. Let me pull it up. I just said I was going to pull it up, but I didn't pull it up. Let's make sure I pull it up before I go rushing past. Let's see, books. Is it in books? It is not in the library. I want to make sure it's in the library at godandgigs.com/books. I've got Atomic Habits. I've got some of these other ones. So I'll make sure to add that one so that you go to godandgigs.com/books, you can see everything in one place. Okay. So Profit First, the model. And finally, I wish I had used invoices for every single time I'm owed money. I send them an invoice, even if I don't necessarily get handed to them because it's like a one-time thing. I still create an invoice. It helps me with the tracking. It reminds me of what I'm worth. It reminds me how much money I'm owed. I don't lose track. I don't forget who pays me what, why I didn't pay me, so on. And I can send them the invoice. And that reminds me to keep my businesses correct. Now, if that has blessed you, and I'm right on time, I believe I got 3 minutes, and you want to get more resources like this consistently, I suggest you join the godandgigs.com/inspired, which is the Inspired Creators Corner. The Inspired Creators Corner is part of our God and Gigs 360 membership, but it's our low-cost version where there's not a lot of live coaching or any live coaching. All it is you get these resources. Things like, which I'll go right now and I'll tell you, we have that seminar that was with Sam Mabry on how to organize your taxes and how to get the tax benefits. That's inside the Creators Corner. Okay. You don't have to go re-register or anything, just for $10 a month. Okay. Let me put this in. godandgigs.com/inspired. Inspired. Okay. With a D. godandgigs.com/inspired. It's just $10 a month. And that will get you all of the resources plus a new resource every month. We're going to work on the month of April. So if you need a template on how to grade your invoices, we make it. If you need a template on how to build up your record keeping, we'll make it. If you need a template on how to organize your marketing, we can make it. If you need the best emails, which I've gotten 50 to 60% open rate on my emails for the last year, and you want to know how we've done it and what subject lines we've used with my creative business so that I can get people to my shows, that every time I send out a thing to my shows, I get 60 to 70% people opening that email to see where my shows are. And I get about 5-10% clicks. Okay. If you want that, I can create the template, show you how we did it. No live coaching for that. You don't have to worry about the live coaching. That's for the mastermind level. 70's in the mastermind. She knows about that. That's godandgigs 360 gold. Okay. If you want to go to the mastermind, godandgigs.com/gold. But just to get into the part where you get the templates and the webinars and everything, godofgeeks.com/inspired. All right, y'all, it is 1:45. I have got to get out of here and get ready for this wedding. This has been amazing. A great, great call. So thank you so much for Giselle over there, and Brent jumped in. Oh my gosh, Doobie Powell was over here a second ago. Oh my goodness, I missed out on Doobie Powell. God bless you, sir. The Shonda was over here, both on Instagram and on YouTube. Thanks for joining us, Sticks. Jerry Manuel was in here in the building. Paula was in the building. And over here, of course, Simony. And then anybody that's watching on YouTube or Facebook and the replay, again, jump in on godandgigs.com/inspired. That's the best way to get all these resources I'm collecting for you in one place. So if I rush through things, you'll always have everything, the templates, the webinars, the all the different things we do. And you can always, of course, follow the podcast, godandgigs.com/podcast, God and Gigs Show on all social media networks. We're a value for value podcast, which means we give you value. You don't have to pay anything for the podcast. We just ask that you send value back in time, talent, or treasure. Okay? So connect with us any of those ways. This has been a blessing. Great, great, great creative checkup. You guys have blessed me. Thank you for hanging in there with me. If you were able to hang into the whole time, if you're watching on replay, thank you for watching the replay. And I'll see you guys. Oh, next week, we will not have a creative checkup because why? It's Good Friday, Holy Week. I really want to make sure that day is dedicated to us really focusing on God and his sacrifice for us, on Jesus. And many of us have services, whether it be the 7 last sayings of Christ, Good Friday services. So no creative checkup next week. Little housekeeping there. I will send out some emails, of course, to those of you who are on the newsletter, the creative checkup newsletter, so that you can find out when we'll be meeting again, and we'll get back into it. Okay. God bless you guys. This was fun. Take care, everyone.